All right, so I figured it was about time to make another Bitcoin update video. I want to go over the trade that I'm in right now, the trades that I've taken since my last video, which, really I've just been scalping this low time frame range here. And we'll go over some other stuff as well. I'll take a look at Market Cipher, see how that developed. And I'll probably do a bit of rambling on the general sentiment right now. And I think I'm just going to kind of wing it for this video. I've been sick for the past few days, so I haven't been super active at the charts, but I have been, taking some scalp trades when I see an opportunity. But yeah, since like Wednesday of last week, I've been feeling really bad. I'm feeling a lot better now, so I figured I'd sit down and try and make a video. And I'll quickly start off with the more local stuff. So right now, I'm only in one trade. I am still in this short. I took this short, let's see, back on the 18th of February. And really, the reason for taking this short is because I saw signs of a weakening trend. We on a higher time frame had just broken above this higher time frame range, and a lot of people got bullish once we broke above this range. And we kind of started stalling out. Price started consolidating. We began ranging a little bit. I saw signs of a weakening trend right around this area. We saw money flow start to come out, momentum coming down. And I thought it made sense for a retrace, even if this higher time frame uptrend is going to continue. I think it makes sense to maybe pull back to some of the key levels within this larger range. And I kind of have a risk-free short right now because soon after I took the swing short, which I entered right here, I entered a scalp short as well, and I locked in enough profits to cover my losses if this swing short gets stopped out and then some. And since that trade, I've taken a few more scalps within this range, and I've been overall profitable for the last week or so. So, even if the short gets stopped out right now, it'll still be a profitable week. I'm not that concerned about it. I'm just kind of letting this ride right now. But we are seeing some signs that maybe price wants to start rotating back to the high of the range again. We are seeing money flows start to come back in on some time frames. And I'll just quickly run through Market Cipher right now. We'll just kind of get that out of the way. So on the daily time frame, we are seeing VWAP start to curve back to the upside. Money flow, it started to come back down after putting in this trigger wave. This was kind of what I was hoping would happen. We got a little trigger wave with money flow, but now it's turning to the upside. Still too early to tell, I think, if this is really going to have continuation to the upside or if this will just kind of be like a little blip here. And yeah, like I said, on the 4 hour, we saw money flow get into the red, and it is starting to show, a bit of curvature back to the upside. It's not super convincing yet because, we could see this just turn up, come down, kind of, begin a larger overall curvature in the red. We see that happen. Sometimes we'll get a little wave, it'll start coming back up, and then it'll dip back down. So, we have the potential, I think, to see this maybe come up into the green and maybe give price a rotation back to the high of the range, potentially even breaking out of it to the upside. So that is a bit threatening to my swing short. The 3 hour, we saw money flow get into the green, but it is pretty poor follow through so far. It's just kind of, hugging the zero line basically, not really getting aggressive follow through after crossing over. So that is kind of a good sign, especially if we see this money flow turn back into the red and start to put in lower lows. So that is kind of working in my favor a little bit. But the 2 hour, we already saw the money flow get into the green, fall back into the red. And, it's kind of just hugging the zero line right now. It's kind of hard to tell what is going to happen. But, if you're going by the overall trend recently, the overall trend is lower highs, and even in the red, we are seeing lower lows. So while there is a chance that, maybe money flow curves back to the upside right here, maybe ends up breaking this overall trend of downwards money flow of lower highs, maybe we start breaking some of these lower highs, and yeah, maybe that will lead to a rotation to the upside. I think that's a possibility, but it's hard to tell right now. Money flow is just kind of hugging the zero line. And, just looking at the 2 hour alone, I'm more inclined to think that the overall trend is going to continue until I see evidence that says otherwise. But here on the 1 hour, we are kind of seeing a different story. So, you can kind of say that we had an overall curvature here. It's not the greatest looking because, money flow came up into the green. But we have seen money flow put in a low. We even kind of put in a double bottom here and then a higher low. And now recently money flow is putting in higher highs in the green. We took out this most recent lower high over here. And it's looking, pretty decent. It's getting a pretty aggressive move to the upside in terms of money flow. This 1 hour trigger wave doesn't look bad. We had an anchor wave, trigger wave, money flow coming up. So the 1 hour is kind of looking bullish, which could give legs to this 4 hour money flow. Maybe continuing this upward curvature, getting back into the green. There are definitely conflicting signs. I'm not saying it definitely looks like we will rotate or continue rotating to the high of the range. It's kind of iffy, honestly, but I am seeing the potential for bullishness here on the 1 hour, and how that 1 hour could play into the 3 hour, 4 hour potentially. And really quickly, just going through some of the lower time frames now. The 30-minute is starting to come out, so we saw that aggressive movement to the upside that we saw on the 1 hour, but it has already started to take a turn to the downside. We're seeing that curvature back down. And we also saw some bearish divergences as we are putting in higher highs here in terms of momentum. And even with money flow on that last lower high, we got pretty much what I would call a top signal on this 30 minutes. So potentially we actually end up reversing from here. And we saw very similar things on the 15-minute. We see bearish divs with money flow and momentum as we've been putting in higher highs here. So yeah, again, there's conflicting signs, definitely. We are ranging, so not surprising that things aren't absolutely clear, especially as we're kind of hugging the midpoint of the range right now. I think things have potential to go either way at this point. And one more thing I want to mention about this swing short, if it ends up playing out, I kind of want to go a little more in depth into my targets for this. So, again, the reason I entered this short was because I saw signs of a weakening uptrend. For those of you that watched my previous videos from a few weeks ago, you'll know that I was really bullish around this area, or, more so this area. Once we broke up above that range, I, said I was pretty bullish. I thought it would be a pretty easy move to come up to this high, and I was long scalping this whole way up. And so I kind of expected this bullish move, and it's kind of funny because most people didn't get bullish until we actually broke above the highs. So most people weren't like actually super bullish until around here. And this is the point where I started to notice some of the signs of a weakening trend. The uptrend, was showing signs of weakening in terms of money flow coming out, momentum diverging from price as it's putting in higher highs. Price began consolidating up here, which was different from the aggressive uptrend that we were in. We are now forming a range. And, this is kind of the reason that I like to view the markets, regardless of what time frame I'm on, through the lens of the trader, through the lens that I pretty much have been viewing the market, the entire bear market, the entire time that I've been learning to trade. I look for, opportunities to buy low and sell high, regardless of the context. If it's, on a high time frame, if it's on maybe a macro time frame, I'm looking for opportunities to, buy low, relatively speaking, and sell high, relatively speaking. And, that also goes for, my day trades, my more active trades. I am looking at, lower time frame contexts and looking to sell high and buy low. So it's just very interesting to me that, as soon as we break above this and, price gets a little move above this previous high, now all of a sudden, if you're looking for a retracement, all the new bulls that spawned in right here are calling you an idiot. And that seems to be the general sentiment right now. It's kind of, bears are idiots, which I don't consider myself a bear. I'm bullish on Bitcoin in terms of the fundamentals. I'm bullish in terms of, the next few years. I think it probably will have a bull cycle like we've seen in the past. I think it will break all-time highs, but I just can't force myself to become, delusionally bullish in a spot that I don't think makes sense. And, if you go to the weekly time frame, I'd say where we're at right now, even if we go to, beyond all-time highs, let's say we double all-time highs and go to like 120K, let's say 130K to be safe. And where's your stop loss going? Maybe below 20K, something like that. I mean, you're looking at like a 2.7, maybe 3-to-1 risk reward. This is just kind of how I view things. I view things in terms of risk reward. I try to view the macro stuff the same way that I view my trades, and if I don't think a trade setup makes sense, then I'm not going to consider it. And that also doesn't mean that, all opportunity is lost for me if Bitcoin actually does just continue pumping up the way it has been and breaking all-time highs and then continuing up from there. Because, if that happens, I mean, number one, I can zoom in on these lower time frame moves and look to long all of these if I see opportunities to long these higher lows. I can look at altcoins and find alts that, have more potential than Bitcoin, maybe haven't pumped as much, maybe their bullishness hasn't played out as much. So there's always going to be opportunities. I'm not feeling FOMO here, and that's kind of the point I want to emphasize. And I'm also planning for opportunities to potentially, either build swing or spot positions in spots that I think makes more sense. And I'll just kind of quickly go over, a few of my ideas that I'm thinking of right now. I kind of like to come up with my ideal plans. Like I'll maybe come up with a few levels that I'm really interested in, either building swing or spot positions at. And then I'll just kind of see how price acts. Maybe if price comes a little bit lower than that first area, but we start seeing signs that, hey, maybe it's time to start looking for those swing or spot positions before my next area, before my next target, then I can, use local price action, maybe find a reason over here that price is finding support. Maybe then I can justify a plan. But I like to keep things simple and just kind of come up with what I think are, the most obvious or, the best plays. And to me there are a few. There's one kind of locally, which is essentially my target for this current swing short. I'm kind of hoping that we can give back this whole bullish move that we had since we broke above the value area high back here. I think it makes sense to retest the value area high, maybe the point of control. We have a little range of price action here, which is kind of like the end of this massive inefficiency. And what do you know? We have golden pocket confluence there. So this is just kind of an obvious spot. And I think it's a much better spot to potentially look for swing long positions if the confirmations are presented, rather than looking to swing long a breakout. That's not the way I trade. So that is a general zone I'm interested in. I mentioned this, more local support level, which is kind of my first TP for this target. And potentially this holds. We have SFP'd the high over here, which means that in order to get down there, we may break structure. It's possible that we just come down here and SFP that, and maybe then we can, continue on with this overall uptrend. So that is a possibility. That's why I'm looking to de-risk in that area. I'll probably set my stop loss to entry if we get a move down to that area. But that's my first target, and pretty much thinking if we lose that, there's a good chance that we come down to this zone right around 44K. I think it's, a relatively easy move to take out all this price action. The classic Taco Bell effect. If, Bitcoin ate Taco Bell over here, this is a burrito, then, it's a pretty smooth move when we come back down through that Taco Bell area. So that is kind of, an obvious spot that I'm looking for support. I think that may make sense for a retracement target. And you could also look at maybe this, trend line that we're forming down here. It's been respected now 3 times, so maybe if we come down to like the 786 or the value area low of this range, there's potential that that holds. But I think if we start losing like the value area low in this trend line, then the possibilities of us retracing back down to that 30K target that I've been eyeing since we broke up above it becomes much more likely. And that's pretty much my next, swing area of interest is right around, 30K-ish. The golden pocket's coming in a little bit above that now, but we got the 786 right about around the highs of this previous range. We could look for other confluences, like maybe value area confluences, but I'm on the MEXC chart. I don't know if that has the best volume data, but pulling the fib from pretty much all-time or bear market low to current high. Now the golden pocket's coming in right around that 30K area. And again, I'm not sitting here holding my breath thinking that Bitcoin has to come down to any of these areas. I'm just planning for potential scenarios and scenarios that I think make sense. and scenarios that I would prefer, just looking at these charts through the lens of a trader, which is what I try to do. Again, I'm not really the best at playing these market cycles. That's something I'll admit. I've only been here for one Bitcoin cycle, and I didn't exactly play it the best. Granted, I was very new to the space. I didn't even know how to manage my McDonald's paychecks at the time, let alone a spot portfolio or a trading account. I didn't know how to do anything. But, I have had experience, maybe more experience than some of you watching. Maybe I've been here for one more market cycle than you have. But again, I try not to prioritize the market cycles. I try to prioritize my day to day trading, and I try to prioritize being consistent with my day to day trading, because that's the path that I think will give me the highest probability of success in this space. Even if it's slow at first, even if it's, you know, slow for a long time until eventually I reach a point where I can be consistently highly profitable and I can start growing accounts and compounding accounts. And, the 1% risk that doesn't seem like a whole lot right now eventually becomes a lot more because, my trading accounts have grown. 1% of my trading account is maybe 10 times greater than it is now. But even though I don't prioritize the cycles when it comes to my trading and really when it comes to my videos either, it is something that I am trying to improve on. I think it is beneficial to be able to play these cycles, definitely, because, when it comes to opportunities, crypto presents a rare opportunity. And I am trying to approach that opportunity in a responsible way, and I'm trying to get better at playing these cycles. But again, I think the path to most probable success for me is really focusing on the strategies and the trading styles that I've found the most success with so far, and that I'm confident that I'll be able to have success with, regardless of the trading conditions, regardless of the context, the time frame, um, you know, pretty much whatever market conditions we're in, I want to be able to trade it responsibly and successfully. And, again, that's my priority. And I also think that, viewing the markets in the way that I view them can be beneficial to trading these cycles. Just the natural instinct to look for opportunities to buy low, sell high, regardless of the context. I think that could really play into the cycles if I'm able to kind of develop that skill, which is, again, something that I'm kind of working on right now. We're kind of just getting into the bull cycle, in my opinion. So we're kind of transitioning out of the kind of bear market ranging phase, and now we're onto something different. So I will have to start, bettering my skills at, longing the higher lows and getting into the mindset of, hey, we're in a bull market here, so maybe I should start prioritizing a certain type of trade. But again, that is not going to cause me to be unrealistic and, stray from my strategies. All right, well, I think that's enough rambling. I hope that I was able to communicate my ideas. I guess I won't know until I get into editing. Sometimes I don't know what I say. I'm just kind of rambling here, but hopefully you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, leaving a comment. All that helps to support my channel, and I really appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next video.